Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for coming back, and as always thank you for all the support. So I did say that I was going to come in with Crafter's Companion this time, and I thought I'd have a little play with the Swan Lake Sara Signature Collection box, as I haven't done any videos on it before, and there probably isn't going to be any die cutting in this video, so it's purely going to be bits and pieces from the box alongside this, which I found online, which is the music to Swan Lake. So I thought it would be pretty cool to incorporate that into a card. So that's just going to play while I pop that off to the side. I'll just pop that there. So it's not liking being put down. Shouldn't have wound that up quite so much. Okay, so what I've done beforehand is I've got a piece of A3 card which I've cut down to 16 by 7, and I've scored that at 7 inches. So I've got 7 inches here, and I've got 9 inches on the bottom. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard again, and I'm just going to line this back up so you can see where I did the 7 there, and I'm going to score that at 3.5, and this is going to make me an easel card as part of this, although this card will not fit into, it will have to go into a box. Okay, so yeah, put there. Oops, music. I'm just going to pop that there. So I'm going to bring my trimmer in, and I'm just going to get some 300 GSM white card. I'm going to need 2 pieces. So the first piece, which is going to be the front of my easel card, so that needs to be 7 by 7. So let's just pop that there, and that there, and I'm just going to check that that fits nicely over the top. Yep, I'm happy with that. And then this second piece needs to be 6.5. And it needs to be by 8, I think. So we'll move that out of the way. I'll bring my scoreboard back in. So first off, with this piece that we've got, which is the 6.5 by 8. So I want it to be this way around, I believe. And just double check that. So that's going to be, yeah, so it needs to go no, just need to be, oh, bear with me 2 seconds. Yep, so I'm going to have it the 6.5 long ways, and I'm going to score at 1 inch, 3 inch, 1 inch and 6 inch, and then along this top here I'm going to take that down to 1 inch. Okay, so I'll pop that out of the way, and what I'll do first of all is just give those a really good burnish down. So this is going to be the little box that we're hiding our mechanism in. I'm also going to make another little feature of it as well. So obviously that's going to go together like so. And then we need to cut away some of this bottom piece, because it's going to go, it's going to fold inside. Okay, so it's just going to be sort of like a normal box. So So I'm just going to cut away this second piece because we only need one piece to cover the end. I'm just going to cut that as straight as I can. And then this piece here, I'm going to come across and I'm just going to cut a wedge out of each side. And then hopefully that should fit inside there quite nicely and support it. So let's just give that a little burnish down, and then when we pop that over, actually, might just take a little bit off that top. Alright, let's just take a tiny wee bit, just so that fits in nicely. I'm just going to line that up with the bottom, and it's just this top bit, and I just need to take less than a mil really. It's just so that it just fits inside that box comfortably. So hopefully that should be it, and it'll be decorated anyway, so I'm just popping that in. Okay, so that's going to be quite nice there. Okay, so the other thing I need to do, so this end that's going to have the cap on, this is going to be the piece where we have our mechanism. So if I just unscrew the little handle, keep it in a safe place, and then we just need to mark out where we want this to be, and I do want it quite close to the top. So if I just grab, just checking that's going to be pretty much there. Don't know if I might go over just a little bit. Yeah, so I can afford to go just a tiny bit over. And then I'm just going to double check that that's going to be the top. Yes, it is. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my crocodile, and we're just going to make a hole for the handle to come out from. So I've got this big old crocodile, very dusty because it lives on the floor. And that's just going to pop that hole through. Down there, and then that just means that our little handle is going to come through quite nicely. Okay, so previously I did stick a little bit of card on here with a bit of Kalau glue, just being careful not to cover the note drum, and also not to get any glue near that handle. It's just to give me something to stick this to my card there. So I'm going to put some red liner tape on there just to give me a bit of an immediate stick, and then I'm also going to use a bit of Kalau for long-term stick as well. So that is going on to there, and then if I grab my Kalau, which is hiding, there we go. Just going to pop a little bit along there again, just making sure I'm nowhere near that mechanism. And I can pop that straight in to there and give it a nice press down. Okay, hopefully it should pretty much stay there, but if I screw the handle on just for a second, just going to make sure it all still works. Yeah. Okay. So next I can come in and assemble the rest of my box. So let's give that a good burnish down. Give those a burnish down as well. And I'm coming in with some red liner tape. And I will use a bit of PVA tacky glue as well. So the red liner tape is super sticky, so it gives a good amount of stick straight away, and the tacky glue just melts those fibres of the paper together so that they do stay where we want them to stay for a long period of time. So I'm just going to give that a good burnish down. Again, just give that as good a burnish down as I can. Should have done that beforehand. Never mind. Okay. So we're just going to whip that off. Pop a bit of the tacky glue on these ends. And I'm just going to bring that over to close that up. And again on that side, just give that a little press down. And what we can do, just to put a little bit of pressure against it, we've still got room to just pop our ruler in and just press against it. Okay, so trying to keep that the right way up as much as possible to give it time to sort of dry. So ideally what I would say is it might be worth just letting that glue go off for a couple of hours or overnight. Then these bits are just going to pop inside. She says, go on, in you go, don't be difficult. I'm just going to put it just a little further. And put my ruler back again. So when you look inside, you can just sort of manoeuvre those into position so that they're actually glued nicely. Okay, so oops, I'm quite happy with that. So that's where we're at the moment. So I'm going to pop that upside down so that it's that way up. And we'll just put it to the side to sort of dry for a little bit while we work on the actual card part of our card. So again, I'm going to use a little bit of this tape, and I'm just going to put it at the top and the bottom here, just to give us a bit of that instant stick. And let's give it a burnish down so that it comes off nicely. There we go. And I can use a bit of my all-purpose on here as well, so that will give it sort of, as it dries, it gives the card a bit of, it just makes it like a little bit stiffer, so it sort of becomes more cardboardy, so it sort of feels stronger. Okay, so let's bring this piece in. And even though this card is from the same place, this is just slightly different colour, slightly different white. You can see as I put them together, but I don't think it's going to affect anything when we've popped it all together. So I've just got a bit of glue that's splodged out there, so I'm just going to rub that off. That's the beauty of that all-purpose glue. And then we've got our easel card, which is going to sit like so. Okay. So I'm going to be using this piece of card. So I really quite like this image, even though this ballerina, she looks like she's got stubble. So I think it's like alternative ballet. Nothing wrong with that. Like a bit of alternative ballet. But it just makes me giggle a little bit. And I'm also going to be using, in the kit you get this pearlescent card, which is sort of a navy blue. So I'm going to team those together. So let's bring our trimmer back in. Let's get that end out. So we know our card is 7 by 7. So now I'm going to go back to my usual mats, which is just the 2 notches, so 2/16 below this 7. And again, so that should be a square. So let's just pop that onto there and just make sure that fits quite nicely, and it does, so I'm happy with that. And then when it comes to this piece, I want to try and keep as much of these two as I can. So unfortunately I'm going to be chopping some of this other lady off. So we're going at 6 3/4, and I think we'll go the same that way. So unfortunately now we've cut her head off, and this is our piece that we've got there. Okay, so I'm going to pop that down. I'm going to bring in an inking mat. So this is what it's the older ones. So, and I've got a dauber ready, and I've also got a little bit of the Midnight Water Reactive. And I'm just going to go around and darken those edges, just bring that moodiness in. And you can see it matches in really well with the colour that's already there. Just going all the way around. Now, like I said at the beginning, I'm not going to be doing any die cutting for this one. So there are actually I might end up doing a little bit. No, I'm not going to, because I'll just do a square one. I was just thinking about the sentiment, but I can get away with a square one for that. So just going around, but there are ballerinas in the die set as well, so you could definitely be adding people onto this so that you've got a group of them. Troop, do you call troop of ballerinas? There we go. So happy with that one. So I'll pop that to the side, because obviously there will be layers elsewhere that we need to do. Okay, and then I'm going to mount this onto here. So bits of paper. So that is going onto there, like so. And the other thing I wanted to bring in is I've got so there are sort of sparkles on the way around this paper, but I've got a sparkle pen here. Actually, let me bring that mat back, because this could get messy. And I'm going to bring, I just want something to tap it with, so let's go with this pencil. And I might need to just flood that a little bit, bear with me. There we go. I don't know if you're picking, well, you can see it on here, but what it does is just add that in, and you can do as much or as little as you want. If you wanted bigger sort of splats, what you could do is make a puddle of it, get a paintbrush, do it that way. Just be careful if you go to use this, let's say if I was then to try and paint her skirt with it, it would flood, or it will have flooded. So make sure you've got a spare bit of paper just to get rid of that excess, because you know, it could be a bit of a disaster for you. Okay, so then the next thing I'm going to do is just take this other piece here. And this is why I'm not doing any stamping, because I am going to just roughly cut these pair out and just cut around them, just a little bit of fussy cutting. And then what I will do is use my quickie glue pen, and I'm going to glitter her skirt, maybe her tiara. It's not very often I cut with the scissors, but this is quite an easy shape to do. It's just going to give me that little bit of dimension, and because we're going over, we don't have to be too too exact. I mean, he hasn't really got a foot here anyway. And obviously while I'm cutting this out, it's just giving that a chance to dry. And if you were going to do the splattering, but you didn't want to do this sort of decoupage bit, what you could do is just mask them off with a post-it note or something like that. Just, or a little bit of they do the there's a it's not a glue, but it's like a paint. Crafter's Companion do it because I got it from there. And you paint it on and it's blue and it dries. I think is it called drawing gum? But yeah, you paint it on and then it dries, and then you can do whatever you like, and then you can just roll it off, and underneath has been protected. So it acts like a liquid mask. I haven't got it in my trolley to hand, so I can't show you what I mean, but I'm pretty sure it's called drawing gum or something like that. And, I don't use it very often. I think I bought it and then I was like, you know, oh, that looks fantastic. I really must. I'm going to use the knife to go through there. I really must have some of that in my stash. And then I've used it like once, and it once you've used it, your paintbrush is basically ruined. So don't use a good paintbrush on it. Use an old one or a like pound shop one. Just go around there. Let's have a look. Yeah, got her. Okay, so let's just pop that to the side for a second. I won't use that map. We'll use some paper. And I want my quickie glue pen. And what I'm going to do is just follow this of this dress. So there's all these, well, it's not dresses, it's like a tutu. Is it called a tutu? I think it's called a tutu. And I can put some down here. There seems to be some sort of beading on the straps as well. Just wherever you think there might be a hint of some glitter. Definitely going to be on that tiara, that's for sure. A little more on here as well. Let's see what that looks like. We could do him as well. If I was going to do him, I think I would use a black glitter for him, or a grey. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, look at that. That is coming on. Yeah, that is enough. Okay, I'm happy with that. So I did try and make a video yesterday, and it kind of went horribly wrong. So I kind of gave up with it, and the other idea that I had. But I was sort of thinking about it last night, and this is what I decided instead. And I'm happy with this, so that's fine. I think this is going to be nice as well. So this is a hunky-dory pad. It's not very high, probably about 2 or 3 millimeters. And I might have to chop some up. I'm just being careful not to make any be seen. So we want some on their legs just to support them. And I've been having trouble with my hands because they're really dry. I don't know whether it's because Donna changed the soap. We usually use Carex downstairs. And I don't know whether she's got this special foam stuff, it's proper fancy. And I don't know if that's it's broken as well. I don't know if that's what set my hands off or what, but very, very dry. It's really not painful, but it's just irritating, you know. And I can't grab anything, that's the annoying thing. Okay, let's see. So I think we probably do need just maybe a tiny little piece on the feet. Put one here. One there. I think that's still hidden. And then another little tiny one on that other foot, just to give them a bit of support. So there we go, got that side off. So hopefully that's going to down there not be seen. Yes, perfect. Okay, so we'll use a bit of tacky glue on all of these as well, just for a bit of extra security. Okay, so here comes the tacky glue. That just gives me a bit of wiggle time, and also a bit of longevity, just in case those foam pads decide to shrink with the heat changes and such like, because this is sort of something we're designing to be used or saved for quite some time. So let's just pop them on. Okay, so there we've got our dancing pair, and then I can go ahead, and I am using all-purpose on here even though it is a pearl card, because it's not going to be seen. So if it takes the shine off the back, it's not going to be a problem. But I am going to pop a little bit of tacky glue on just for that safety there, and then it will also make that stick straight away. So that's our card. So that is how it is looking at the moment. Okay, so let's pop that to the side, and we're going to bring our mechanism back. So this basically is going to stick onto here. Okay, we're still going to need our a stopper on here and something on the back, but it will fit down flat into the box. So that was the idea and the thinking on there. But what I need to do, I'm just going to trim a little edge there. It's not quite flush and it's annoying me. So I need to mat and layer this up. So I am going to do the 3 sides. So we need a piece which is 2 by 7, and then 2 pieces that are 1 by 7, or you know, thereabout, with our mat. So let's just pop that to the side. I'm going to bring some more of this pearlescent in. I don't think any of these pieces will fit. That's going to be super hard to cut. Okay. So I'm going to start by taking this arm out. So we know it's 7 inches across. So I'm just going to go straight ahead and whip that across at 7 inches. Okay. And then I want 2 pieces that are going to be 2 notches under the one. And I'm lining it up on this opposite side there. And then that should fit quite nicely onto here. Oh, I forgot, it needs to be 2 notches under the 7. So let's just do that on the next bit. There we go. And then this bit needs to be 2 notches under the 7, just for the length. So then that should fit nicely onto there. Okay, so now we can go ahead and do that other one. And then we want 2 notches under the 2, which is that one there. Okay. And the other thing I want to do is to make some layers for it. So I'm going to use the reverse side of this seems a bit of a shame, but we're going to cut this down to 4 notches below the 7, and then we're going to go to 4 notches under the 1, so it's going to be about 3/4 of an inch. There. There, and then 4 notches to that 2, and then hopefully that should fit onto there quite nicely. It does on that one, it does on there too. Okay, now one of the things I hadn't worked out beforehand was how I was going to get the hole in the top to match these. So let's unscrew that handle, and if I pop that on the top, just going to pop that on so it's nice and straight, and I believe it is there. Okay, so if I put my little hole in that first of all, and what I'm going to do with this one is just move it up to the smaller hole first of all. So I'm just making a hole where I've made that. It just gives me a bit of room to move it over if I need to, and I do. So let's just move it over to the bigger hole. And hopefully that should fit over fairly nicely. I might have to just trim it down a little bit, but that's fine. So I'm going to keep that ready because we will have to go through that again in a second when we put that layer on. So let me just take a little notch off that. Just so we've got a nice white bit at the end. Yeah, I think I can live with that. And then if I put this on, I am going to have to trim it down. We know we're going to have to take just a little smidge off. So ideally you should put this layer on, decorate it before we put that in. So next time we have to try and remember that. I probably won't, but hopefully you'll remind me. Okay, so I've got some writing on here, so actually I'm going to use my tacky glue, I think. I'll just go across. Just going to pop that on as if we normally would. We won't take any attention to that hole whatsoever. And then if I bring that back in, what I can do is just pop that straight in where we went before. Oops. Oh, that's going to take that other little bit out. Okay. So that is there. So I need to not lose that key. So let's put this on before I lose that key. Just use a little bit of tacky and all-purpose. So we're just hedge our bets with both. I'm going to pop that on. I'm going to move it as far to the left, no, the right as I can. And then we're going to pop our handle in. There we go. Yeah, it's still working, so that's perfect. And then we've got these two pieces here. If you want to, you can go ahead and spatter them. I wanted to make a little bit of, you know, so it's a little bit different. So the card is a bit more special than the box as such. So I sort of decided not to, but obviously if you want to do that, if you want to ink these around, you can do. Like I say, I wanted to make it just slightly different to the other piece, so that you know you're looking at something else. Obviously some people like to do it all matchy matchy, so whatever type of crafter you are, do you, that's what I say. And apologies, this is going to be a slightly longer video just because of the construction of it all. Okay, so now we can go in. So I am going to pop these on now. Oops. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to assemble the drawer part, because there is going to be a little hidden drawer, and then that will give this bit a little bit of time to go off, and then we can attach it to our card and do our sentiment to finish. So let's just on there. And the other thing I forgot about was the end bit, so we need to cut a little bit for that as well, so we'll do that. And that's just a little simple mat for a 2x1, which I say is going to be simple, but it isn't, because it's a tiny little piece. But there we go. Okay, if you wanted to not mat and layer on that side, because you're not really going to see so much of it, then you knock yourself out. Anyway, but I have now got the correct measurements. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut this to 4 inches, and we're going to take 4 notches back. So we're going to go at 3 3/4, and then for the length, so it should be 6 3/4, and we're going to take 2 notches back. Okay, and the reason why we have to take 4 notches back on the 4 inches is because we're taking a notch from here, a notch from here, a notch from here, and a notch from here. So that's why we've got the 4 notches gone. Okay, so I'm still coming in on the box base side, but instead of scoring on the 7, I'm just going at the next little notch along, so we're just under the inch, and I'm going to do that all the way around. Oops, it went off. Okay, and burnish all of that down. Okay, and this is again that 300 GSM card in the white. I'm just going to, again, just exactly the same as before, basic box making, just cutting in and cutting that tab away. And sometimes when I move it just at the light, so I've got 3 lights here to make sure you can see sort of fairly well what I'm doing, but it means randomly that I can't see so very well sometimes, so I bring it out and then I can see where I've gone a little bit on the wonk. So okay, so take that little bit there. Okay, what I want to do is just pop that to the side a second, because what I did remember was I am going to be putting a hole in this for a ribbon as a draw pull. So I need to make my my mat and layers. Okay, so for this one I'm going to just, actually I might use a pencil just to mark it. So I'm coming in with this little bit of this pearlescent blue, and I'm just going to pop a little mark on. It's going to be super hard to keep this straight, so I'm going to use my trick with my masking tape. So we'll just try and keep that straight. I think hopefully that should be okay. And this one shouldn't be too bad because we can see it's a bit longer, so it will butt up to the edge. So let's just see if that fits on quite nicely. And it does. Keep that bit, hopefully that will fit on the end as well. And then this piece here, I'm just worried that the writing was the wrong way up on that one. Here we go. So let's just go. And let's do this bit first of all. We'll just use a little bit of tape. So my marks down this end here. So what I'm going to do is just line it up with this line on my trimmer. Hopefully that's going to be about where we need to be. It gets difficult when it's tiny bits like this. And then just a little below that as well. Let's see how that fits. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So we'll come back and we'll do the other end in a second. So let's put that right in. On this side, slightly darker blue. Put that onto there, like so. Just want that to go off for a second, and then I'll do it on the side on here. I need to make sure that's the right way up the writing again when the box is assembled, and then that is going to pop onto there. I'm going to bring in my little crocodile again. Let's move up to the smaller one. I think I might get away with the smaller one, and then just sort of randomly round about in the middle. Let's see. That will be fine. Might go in and do the bigger one if the ribbon struggles to go through. But I did get some ribbon in the pack, so I buried it under all of my card. So we've got this dark blue, and I think this is the one that I'm going to use. So just going to pop that through. Let's fold that over nicely. There we go. I'll cut that back there. I can bring this back almost all the way through, and just so you can see how dry my fingers are. Pop in, not on the end. And this is just purely so it doesn't come back through that hole. So we've got our little draw pull there. Okay, I'm just gonna neaten that up. If you want to, we can hide that, or I may even come in later and just glue that flat with under a layer, which is probably what I'll do just for neatness. Okay, so I'm going to use my tacky glue on this because it's just good for construction. If you want a bit of extra security, you can use your red liner tape. So I'm just matching that up and popping a little clip on just to hold it while that glue goes off. And just making sure that these edges line up. Nearly there now, guys. And again. And there. I've got another clip there. And hopefully one of those others will have set, so I can steal one that other side. There you go. Just give that a good little press in. Okay, So move that along a bit so that glues nicely there as well. Okay, so while that's just gluing, what I will do is just come in with this end here. So let's just see. What was it, that one? I think it's this one, wasn't it? Let's see, hopefully that should fit there. Yeah, that's fine. So this one needs to be just 2 notches under the 2. That should fit onto there quite nicely. And then, was it this piece I used? I think so. So this is coming together quite nicely. So this one, let's do it that size. So I'm going to go 4 notches under the 2 just for a nice little layer there. Okay. So that one's going to go onto there. Oops, moved. It's quite slippy on the pearlescent card. So you could use any of your red liner tapes on any of these. Let's put that way around for the feather to be the right way up. There we go. So that's that. So hopefully now this drawer should have gone off. So moment of truth. Yay! Fits in perfect. Okay. So let's move this out of the way. Hopefully we might need that again in a second for the sentiment, but apart from that we should be done. Okay, so now what I need to do is just get this one stuck onto here. And then we can just do our layers in there as well, which I had forgotten about. Okay, so for this, definitely red liner tape. Although we will be using our tacky glue as well. Actually, I might use construction glue, just that little bit stronger, like I say. Both of them will work. Both of them will solidify into those papers. So I just got a little bit on the end there. Okay. Oh, sorry, this turned into a bit of a marathon video. And apologise about the drawer measurement, it's not been right. I hadn't quite worked it out. I had done it too long from the start anyway, so it's always difficult with boxes. I do struggle. Sometimes they work out really well, and sometimes they just don't. That's why I don't really make a huge amount of them. Okay, so let's just pop this that way around because of the writing. And putting that just straight onto that end, giving that little press down. Okay, so now we can turn to decorating this little bit here. So hopefully I've got a piece of card. It's probably not going to be the same pattern, I have to be honest. But we will be able to get that to match, and it should be 7 by 7. So we can just go in with our normal matten layers. So 2 notches into the 7. Oops, tipping down the lane. Let's just see how that fits in. Yeah, I'm just going to take that just a little smaller on that one edge. So we'll take 3 notches just for a comfortable fit between the box and that crease. Yeah, and then let's have a look. So we've got this one, we've got this other lady here, so we'll use her. So we can go 4 notches under the 7 that way, and we'll keep as much of her as we can, and we'll go 5 notches, just see how that fits on. And this is going to strengthen the base as well, so yeah, that's that. And So the things that we need now, just stopper and sentiment. So I may well, oh, that rain's really coming down. I may well do both, do two. So we've got a stopper on the bottom and a stopper, a sentiment on the top, but we'll see what we've got. I haven't actually looked at the stamps yet, so just pop that way. Pop that into there. Again, a little bit of tacky glue on those corners, just to give us a bit of quick stick as well. Let's get her the right way up. And in she goes. It's quite nice to have the different one as well. So, not that you're going to see a lot of her anyway. Okay. Right. So I'm just going to grab the stamps. Okay, so these are the stamps, and I think I'm probably going to go with the Swan Lake as a stopper, and maybe maybe with, no, I might go with Best Wishes, I think, as a sort of sentiment up here as well. Okay, so I've got 2 bits of card, plenty of bits left over, so we'll do the Swan Lake first of all. Thankfully it's all one stamp, so don't need to worry about lining that up too much. And I'm going to be using the waterproof Noir Black. Hopefully this should be okay. I do need to replace my, yeah, that's fine, so we'll like that one. And then if I pop another piece in, pop that one off, and we'll go with Best Wishes, or Just For You. Let's do Just For You. Just For You. Hopefully that's quite straight. It's difficult to tell on my platform now because I broke one of the things. It's okay just for stamping things. I just couldn't rely on it to go back in and do a second print, so definitely going to get it replaced. Awesome. Lovely. Okay, so it just shows how beautifully they do print out. So let's move that out back where it belongs. And that there as well. And then we're just going to come in and make some matte layers with that blue. I think I've got a piece of blue there, yeah. So just going to come across there and I think there, which is nice. And let's do this one first of all. Might have to use a little bit of tape. Let's just get that nicely. I think maybe there. Yeah, nice, quite a nice big one. And then there. Okay, and then we need to just do ourselves a little border. So just going to bring those blue tones back. So pop a mark there and a mark there. I'm just going to cut in front of those marks. I'm going to ink these as well, just to tie them in a bit more as well. Okay, so we've got that one there, and then this one, let's go this way around, just popping it on. again, I'm going to cut just in front of them. And there we go. So that is perfecto. So let's put that down. I'm going to bring our mat back in. Bring these over. My midnight. We're just going to go around. Just so it's not quite so stark. Just going to tie in. Might also spatter it a little bit as well, so we've got a little bit of magic going on. So that's that one. It's quite a treat really, because I don't usually do quite so much inking, and I've done 2 lots on here. This project. Okay, so that's that one, and then again I'm just going to bring this in. Hopefully it should still be, yeah, it's there. As much or as little as you want. Okay, and then the next thing I'm going to need is going to be some foam pads. So I think I might have buried these underneath my, here we go. These are the little ones. Have I got any of the bigger ones? Here we go. And also what I want to do is, I need to mat and layer those first. To make sure I've done with those now. I also want to use some water drop gems on them. Okay, so I'm not quite sure what I've done with my layers now. I've shoved them to the side. Okay, bear with me 2 seconds. Okay, so they've just got buried under something else. So I'm just going to go ahead with a bit of tacky glue onto there. I don't know if you can just pick up that a little bit of sparkle on there. I'm probably not going to pick it up on the camera, but it is quite pretty just to have that in the background. There we go. So that's there. And right, let's do this one first of all. So this is the stopper. So we're going to put a nice amount of pads on here, and this is the Crafter's Companion. I think is about 5mm, so it's quite a nice high pad. I'm putting plenty on there for support. I'm just going to take these backs off. Apologies about the length of this video, but it's just one of those things when it's a project, it's kind of gets to be a bit. Right, so we're going to pop that on there like so, and I think it's quite nice that we've got the word Swan Lake on this, so that people know that's, you know, that's what the music is and that's what it's about. It's not just a random ballet. See, I'm not a huge ballet fan, so I wouldn't necessarily have known this piece of music was from Swan Lake, because I don't do classical music so much. And then this one is going up in this corner, since we've pretty much, oops, there we go, we've pretty much hidden her anyway. Okay, so these are some nice clear dewdrop gems, fresh from China. So I just think because it's Swan Lake, you know, water, that's what I'm thinking. And I've got my little picky uppy tool, and I'm just going to randomly pop some on. Let's turn them over the right way. And the glue will of course dry clear. And these are a mix of colours. And one down there as well. And I'm going to just do a couple on here as well. You don't have to do this, you know, it's you might want to just leave it as it is. It does look quite nice with the glitter and the sparkle coming through. I just thought it just added to it a little bit. Okay, so hurrah, that's the finished project. Okay, so we've kind of got it's a card, but not a card. It is a card, it's a gift. In here, like I say, I'm probably going to line this and flatten that down, but if you were posting, you could pop your key in, and then just what you might have to explain to whoever receives it. It does fit on quite nicely, or you could put a little treat in there, some chocolates, tickets to the ballet perhaps. But then that's the finished project. Okay, so thank God that is finished. So the amount of things I started with this and then kind of went wrong or didn't quite work out for me, I kind of felt a bit like I was doomed. But then last night when I was thinking about it, I thought maybe this might be a nice idea. And normally I've made boxes before with a music box in, and my mum moans because I didn't make use of the space with a little secret drawer, so that's for mum there. It does go quite nicely in there. It does go a little bit in, not too much though. If you wanted to, you could make that slightly longer if you wanted to, but I'm quite happy with that. You could also add ribbons, plenty more that you can do with it, just to add that up. So yeah, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. Next time I'm going to be back with Hunky Dory's, I think it's Gnome for Christmas. Anyway, it's the gnomes, they're coming. So I'm going to make a card of that next. So that's what we'll be doing. And hopefully that should be tomorrow. So I should be back to my normal day. But thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.